Good afternoon, everyone. It's Jose Torres coming to you live with the Martial Arts Experience, bringing in 2025. Today's a special day for us because this is season 4. Yes, we've been doing this for the last 4 years, and we're excited, man. I mean, it's been a great experience the last couple years that we've had some amazing guests, martial artists, actors, stuntmen, and we wanted to bring somebody special to kick off the new year. So I don't want to waste any time. I want to bring him in live now. And today's special guest is Mr. Vince Murdocco. How are you, Vince? How's everything?
Doing great. Yourself?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. So, Vince, how was the holiday for you? Did you have a good holiday and New Year's? Did everything go well for you?
It was great. You know what? End of the year was fantastic. I went down to Dallas, Texas. I got inducted in the Hall of Fame, as yourself, I heard.
Yes.
You know, that's a great way to end the year. And then I spent it with my family, most important thing. And yeah, no, it's been incredible. Thank you.
Awesome. So Vince, let's just jump. And I went online and looked at a lot of your background and everything. I mean, I couldn't believe the amount of movies you've been in. You know, and it's funny because I knew, you know, most of them as a martial artist, right? Martial arts geek. I watch all of them. But there were some other ones I didn't know that, you know, you were a part of, or some of the other TV series that you did. So for the viewers, you know, let's give them a little bit of background, Vince, of, you know, how did you first start in the martial arts? Because you're a kickboxing champion. So, you know, how did you first start? Please fill us in.
Well, yeah, that was a little whirlwind. How I started in martial arts was I was a little fat kid. You know,
You were a fat kid, Vince? No way.
Yeah, I know, hard to believe, but yeah, I love to eat. I was Italian, love to eat food. So I was a little fat kid getting pushed around in school. Typical story, I think, of many people. And what happened is I met some guy who knew martial arts, and I was working at my father's place, and we kind of exchanged, you know, experiences. And he said, "Why don't you learn how to fight?" And I go, "Okay, let's do that." And he took me under his wing, and we started to learn kung fu to start with. And yeah. And so I started kung fu. I liked it. You know, I did the praying mantis and all those little animal forms, and I started to like it. I started to feel good about myself, a little confidence. And then the gentleman went back to New York City. And then after that, I started looking. Okay. So when I started looking, I found a Taekwondo place taught by C.K. Choi, chief instructor of the Korean Army. Wow. And I decided, let's check this out. And I went in and never turned back after that. And that's how it started.
So I got to tell you, you talk about a fat kid bully. Now, I found this picture here. This is no fat kid here. Look at this sexy man. Like, come on, Vince.
Yeah, I know. I you know, those, you got to watch out for those little fat kids. They turn into really nice ducks. You know those ugly ducklings?
Yeah.
It's a story. You know what? I always say, you know, when you're in high school, you're always growing up. We worry about how your kid's going to turn out. When the kid's not looking that good, don't worry. It'll happen.
Right.
Yeah, you got me. You found the right picture.
Now, Vince, how did you? So you know, you're training martial arts. You switch from, and I didn't know about your kung fu background, from kung fu to Korean art of Taekwondo. How did you progress right into movies, acting, and stunt, or was you a kickboxer first?
Yeah, no, I was a kickboxer first. What happened is I started competing. I wanted to see how good I was. I had a gift. The gift was martial arts. And so I figured it out at a young age. This is what I'm good at. So I started competing. I wanted to see how good I was. And I went to, I started winning tournaments. And I started getting trophies, as you see beside me. These little babies. And I started getting excited as a kid. And I thought, wow, this is good. And I went to the World Karate Championships in Tacoma, Washington. Because I'm from Vancouver.
Okay.
I'm from Vancouver, right? So we're in Canada here. And so I go down to the World Championships, and a gentleman's in the ring is Bill Superfoot Wallace. He's the referee.
Wow.
And so I didn't really know about him when I was young, but I realized real quick that this guy is not normal. He's not just a normal martial arts guy with a gi.
Right.
And I entered the full contact class. I didn't know what I was doing. I went and basically signed up. I knew I was good, but I didn't know how good I was. I guess this was the time. I went with my little brother, Frank, and he's in my corner. And we get to the ring, and there's a black belt across from me. I've only been training for 6 months. I was a blue belt in Taekwondo.
Wow.
And I go, what's going on here? This guy's a first-degree black belt. I see the stripe. And my brother says, listen, he goes to the bathroom the same way you do. Don't let the belt confuse you. So he took my belt off in the ring, and he says, now you're a black belt. Now go kick his ass.
Yeah.
And so I tell you, that was amazing. So I went and I kicked his ass. And Bill is the referee. And so I beat this first-degree black belt, unheard of. So now I'm going to the finals. And it's for first or third place to see if I can go. And I fight this guy named The Wizard. And at the time, I'm going, The Wizard? I've heard of this guy, and he's a third-degree black belt. And I'm like, I'm in the wrong place. My brother again says to me, he goes the same way to the bathroom as you. Kick his ass. Yeah. And so I went, I gave it to him. But he was a little bit better than I was, just a tiny bit. Okay. And it was like the last round, last 30 seconds. All my brother says is, you're going to win. Just stick and move. Don't stay in front of him. And of course, we're Italian. We're really hard-headed. And we decided to go right in front of him. And I think he gave me a 5-punch combination. And I'm on the floor. And Bill looks at me. And he says, son, I think I'm going to call this. And I go, well, you do what you got to do. And so he called the fight, and I placed third overall in the world. And I was only 16. Wow. And I realized, you know what? So I said to Bill, you think I got a chance in the future in this? He says, son, how long have you been training? I go, 6 months. He goes, what? 6 months? Are you crazy? You fought a guy who's been fighting for 7 years. This is a pro fighter. He goes, did you make a mistake when you filled out the form? I said, yeah, I thought it was continuous fighting. I didn't know it was full contact. Right. And he says, well, son, you got a future. I hope to see you again. Awesome. And so after that, I saw Bill Superfoot Wallace in California. Later on, when I started acting, and we kind of laughed at the situation. But that's how I started.
Wow. Now, but the thing is you won what championship? What weight class was it, the championship you won?
Well, I won the Cruiserweight North American Kickboxing Champion, Canadian Championship, and the Japanese Shootboxing Championship.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay. I decided later on, they said, we want to go fight in Japan. I go, that sounds great. Only problem was they didn't tell us the truth. When you went to Japan, you're basically sent out there to get killed kind of thing. But when the shootboxing, I didn't understand. I was fighting WKA rules at the time. So there were 3-minute rounds. When I went there, they're 10-minute rounds.
Oh my God.
So yeah, it's two 10-minute rounds. And so I realized really quick that this is, but I won in Japan. So I was happy about that. But that's only because I was young, and you know what? You couldn't say anything different to me. I had the heart of a lion,
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. Well, you had that passion. You said you're Italian, so you know what I mean,
right? You don't go home without hardware. But how it really started was my acting career. How that started was really weird. It was I went to fight in Florida, and on this bus was Maurice Smith.
Okay.
Don the Dragon Wilson.
Oh, wow.
So two of these gentlemen were on this bus and also Sports Illustrated was in the bus as well. And he's trying to do an interview with Maurice Smith. And being a young guy, I try to size up who are my opponents. And so I was there to go because one of my friends here was fighting Victor, not Victor Solier, and also Victor Solier was there. This is another legend.
Yeah, old time legends.
Yeah, and so they're all on the bus, and I'm on this bus with these guys, and my friend who's from Iran is fighting somebody, but not these guys. But I find out I'm sitting amongst these world champions, and I'm like blown away with all the talk that they're talking. I'm thinking, wow, I'm in a good bus. This is great. Sports Illustrated, you know, talking to Maurice, and so I figured I might as well just throw my 2 cents in there. And I said, "But yeah, Maurice, I'm drinking milk. In a few years, buddy, I'm coming for you." And this Sports Illustrated is looking at me like, "Who is this kid?" He goes, "He's a pretty looking kid, but you know." I just tried to get myself in there, and so what happened is I met a girl who was, well, of course, met a girl who was doing Playboy at the time, and so we became friends, and we started dating. So she came to Vancouver, and to audition for a film called Flesh Gordon, and what happens is she says, "Listen, can you drive me to the audition?" I said, "Sure, I'll take you." So I take her to the audition, and on the wall is a poster of Flesh Gordon, and I look at it, and blonde girl, blonde guy, and I go, "Geez, that guy looks like me." And she goes, "Yeah, he does, doesn't he?" I go, "Yeah, it's pretty funny. He looks, and she looks like you." So I didn't think anything of it. And so all of a sudden, the producer comes out, and he goes, "Hey, you look like the guy in the picture, in the poster." I go, "Yeah, sure do, don't I?" He goes, "Wow, that's amazing." And so he goes, "Why don't you try audition for the film?" And I said, "Wow, audition for the film." I said, "Listen, I'm the fighter. She's the actress." I said, "Let's just keep it that way." He goes, "Yeah, but you could possibly try. Why not try?" So when I got home, she said to me, "Well, listen, why don't you try an audition? I know you're not an actor, but this is a chance." So I ended up auditioning and getting the part.
Right.
And that's how it started, the acting.
Wow. And that was I looked on IMDb. That's like 1990, right?
1990, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
2 years ago. Feels like yesterday.
but Vince, did you have? I mean, before that, did you really have aspirations of acting before that, or no? Not really.
No, not at all.
Wow.
Not the slightest. I never even thought. I was very outgoing as an individual. Everybody you would meet would say that, you know, yeah, Vince is definitely he's not shy.
Right.
You know, my dad would say to me if we were at a wedding, Italian wedding, and somebody gave me a mic, I wouldn't shut up. So that definitely would be what I would be.
Let's talk about the next. So I got most of your films up here. What about L.A. Wars? L.A. Wars.
Yeah. Well, L.A. Wars was a funny story where that came about. There was a gentleman who was, and you know what? This is what I tell everybody: is be nice to everybody, because you know, on the way to wherever you're going in life,
right? There's
going to be people that you would never think were going to help you, that are going to come back and they're going to do amazing things in your life. And what happened with L.A. Wars was I was filming Ring of Fire 1 with Don the Dragon Wilson, and I just arrived on set, and I had a Jeep at the time, and a young man who's parking the cars, as you know, saying, "Okay, you go over here," trying to get everything set up, comes up to me and says, "Hey, you're Vince Murdocco." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "You know what? I think you're the best out of all the cast." He goes, "I watched the movies." He goes, "Wow." He goes, "One day I'm going to make a film," he says. And he goes, "Well, if I ever make a film, I'd have you starring in the film." He goes, I go, "Buddy, listen, nice to meet you, Tony." I said, "Really, I appreciate that." I said to him, I said, "If you ever make a film and you need me, I'll be there for you, buddy, no matter what." And he says, "Really?" I go, "Yeah, you give me a call. I don't care what I'm doing, Tony. I will help you." And so the kid goes and parks the cars, and every day I see him in the morning, and he goes, "Vince, you know what?" He goes, "I think you're just really good guy," and this and that. And he goes, and I said, "Wow." So we became friends. And then one day, I get a phone call. He goes, "Hi, it's Tony Kanda." I said, "Hi, Tony." He goes, "I'm making a film." He goes, "I want you to star in it. Will you do it for me?" He says, I don't have much money. I can't really pay you that much. I said, Tony, listen, what I tell you back then, you want me for a film? I'll do it for you. So we ended up doing the film. And I think at the time I was getting paid $100 a day is all he could afford.
Wow.
But I said to him, no matter what, let's get this film done.
Right.
And yeah, and that's how LA Wars started.
Wow.
And now Tony's doing really well, and he's got a company. I think it's called. It blows my mind. I can't think about it right now. But anyways, yeah, that's how it started.
Wow. So you said
I got a poster right behind me. I just put it up. You know what was taking me so long this morning? It's crazy as it sounds. So I try to put some stuff up to make it look kind of nice. Yeah. And I put LA Wars. I put tape, and it fell down. And as I was trying to get online with you, I'm like, I can't believe it. I got a blank space in my wall. I'm gonna have to. So that was what was causing me the problem.
Gotcha.
But I got it up.
Looks good. Looks really good.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So Vince, let's talk. You tell the story about when you were on the bus, right, for the kickboxer and Don the Dragon and all those people are on Maurice Smith, and now you just mentioned Ring of Fire. How did that come about with Don? I mean, did you build a relationship? Did you talk to him on the bus, and then a couple years later?
I talked to him on the bus very briefly. Don is, I got to tell you, out of all the martial artists that I've met, Don has got the biggest heart. Wow. He's such a gentleman. You know what? And he's a great fighter. So I learned the hard way how good he is. And I became his sparring partner because Don is relentless. He trains a lot, and, and he's 10-time world champion for a reason. Right. Like I said, I had to find that out too because I want to see who the best is. But yeah, I heard about him on the bus, and he's cocky. He was cocky, and he started saying stuff to his opponent. I'm gonna kick your ass, and I'm thinking, who the hell is this guy? Right. And then I'd watch him, and I'd go, it's not that good. You know, I'd watch his kicks. I go, he doesn't kick that good. You know, if you look at him, you realize, okay, it's not that great a technique, and you go, I'll kick his ass. That's what I thought. So what happened was we ended up doing Ring of Fire 1, and we became friends. And I'm this guy, blonde hair, blue eyed, buffed, like the picture, a little bit more buff because I think I was not eating at that time. That was when you hear starving artists in California. Yeah. So I was more like that, without a doubt. So Don says, listen, why don't we get together? I said, sure. So we started getting together, and he would take me places. Like I said, he's big at heart, great guy. He also got me in a couple of martial art magazines doing little spreads on me and him doing moves, and I'd be the opponent that he's beating up. But I'm still on the magazines with him.
Absolutely.
So, like I said, he created opportunity for me, and like I said, out of all the guys in martial arts, Don the Dragon, God bless him. I love him. He's big heart, and if you ever get a chance, he's very, very giving. So, anyways, we started hanging together and eating lunches. Don is, like I said, very giving and buying lunches, never questioned money that. Wow. And so what ends up happening, we start sparring, and I'm loving it. I'm with the best in the world now, fighting, and he's telling me, he goes, Vinny, you know what? He goes, you're gonna do well. He goes, you're gonna get there. He goes, but don't forget when you get there to hire me too now. Don't forget to call me back because I know you. And I said, buddy, if I get there, I'm bringing you back. Are you kidding me? You're so generous. So when we started filming, and so I started sparring with the legend. Yeah. And I would say I'm doing pretty good. I'm hanging in with the best. And so what happens is, where we're going, third round comes in, and Don, I'm getting tired now. Yeah. And I'm looking a little tired. And Don, so now my hands are going down. It's like the fourth round. I'm doing good, but not good enough now. And he basically could finish me off at any second. And
wow.
Yeah, to the point where I've given him everything I got, and so he says to me, he stops, and he goes, "All right, that's it." I look at him. That's it. He says, "Vinny, I'm going to tell you something. You're the best that I've ever sparred with." He goes, "But I want you to come back tomorrow." He goes, "If I finish you off now, you're not coming back tomorrow." He goes, "I need you to come back tomorrow." He says, "That's the difference between a world champion and a guy who's just training." He says, "The difference is I can finish you off at any time." He goes, "Because I know how to finish." He goes, "That's what I practice, is to finish." Because that's why I've got my record where I got it. He goes, "But if I finish you off now, are you going to come back tomorrow?" He says, "No." And then I said, "Well, then what did I accomplish? I just beat up the best sparring guy I've ever had." He goes, "So I want you to come back tomorrow. So I'm stopping now." And I thought that was amazing. I've never had anybody give me that. Most of the time when I'm in the boxing ring at a gym, and if you're about to fall, the guy finishes you. Just because so that's the difference between martial arts and boxing. Boxing has no respect. Martial arts has the respect, and they give it to the students. And when you're boxing, he just wants to finish you off. But when you're kickboxing, they don't want to finish you off. They have respect for the people. Martial arts has that, which boxing doesn't. And once people realize that, it's a blessing. Martial arts are giving, caring people. Where boxers are just like thugs. And that's the truth. They're just thugs. Any boxer you've met have been drug dealers or enforcers, but you never find a martial artist that do it. Martial artists have respect for individuals, and they have rules and laws, and it's two different types of people, and you know what I'm talking about.
Vince, is that your feeling? Not to go off topic, is that how you feel too about some of the people involved with MMA as well, right? Because they don't have a lot of the same, respect. Great fighters, right? There's no
have the values that we're instilled with as martial artists. But if you watch a martial artist jump in the MMA group, like St. Pierre, George St. Pierre, and Machado when he fought.
Leota,
gentleman who even who was that other guy, blonde guy? I forgot his name. It was Wonder Boy. Just where they come from a martial arts background, they're phenomenal and they did well. They got the respect. When they get in the ring, they bow. They don't walk in the ring like, I'm the man. You know what I mean? There's a respect, and you see it a mile away, and it's a big difference for sure. Because the guys who walking in the ring, who've got the cauliflower ears, basically, I got those ears for a reason, and that's pounding and pounding on. They didn't get those. You don't get ears like that just by walking on it and punching a guy in the head. So it's years of wrestling, and and not to say that they don't have the discipline as well, but the respect is less, without a doubt.
Right. What so you do Ring of Fire part number 1, and then you do Ring of Fire 2.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. What happened was the first one was so much fun, and like I said, Don the Dragon. That's almost in the beginning of Don's career. He just did a few other films before that, not many, but so he really found that working with us, or that, because it was a lot of fun, that the first one was so much fun that they decided to do part 2, and it was more or less like a Warriors thing at the time. Warriors was out a lot before, but we had that feeling that this is like the Warriors, like we're Warriors, and that's why they made Ring of Fire 2 in that essence, like that underground, and you know what, it was a lot of fun. And like I said, Don is like nothing but praise for that guy.
Well, I'm trying to get Don on the show. I actually spoken to him a couple times, so I'm gonna text him after this.
Well, you know what? When you text him, you just tell him Vince Murdocco says.
All right.
And you know what? Like I said, he's the most giving guy in the world. I don't see him not wanting to do your show. He'll do your show.
Oh, wow.
I guarantee you. without a doubt. He's got the biggest heart, man.
Yeah.
And he's a gentleman.
Awesome.
We'd be more than happy to do your show. You just got to find some time. That's all.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's always busy. What about, let's go into this. And I have not seen this one. New York Ninja. Ninja.
That's crazy. How that happened, you want to know? During COVID. That happened during COVID. As crazy as it sounds.
Wow.
So what happened was, again, to the people out there who don't understand, be nice to everybody. Because one day, somebody's going to make a phone call and change your life. Yeah. And so, same thing. What happened is, this is a weird story. So, a gentleman phones me up from vinegar syndrome. Okay. And I don't even know what this is. So he phones me up. He says, listen, hi, my name is this. I'm doing LA Wars is coming up and for 30 years or something like that. And I want to do a special anniversary thing for it. And I said, yeah, what can I do you for? He says, I just need some commentation from you. If you want to do something, we're going to do a relaunch of the film, and we're going to just relaunch the film. I said, okay. So what do you need from me? He says, well, can you do some commentating on it? Like, interview. All I need is an interview from you. I said, sure. So he says, but I can't pay yet. Oh, okay. That's fine. I said, no problem. I said, I'd still love to help you out. So that's what I did. And I did this for him. And so then he phones me back. He says, let me send you the new poster, which is that one there behind me. And he says, we redid it. We're launching it. It's some guy did this poster. And I said, oh, that's wonderful. I said, can you send me a copy of the poster? He says, yeah, we can do that. I said, okay, great. So, well, good luck. I said, yeah. He goes, thank you very much, Vince. I really appreciate your time. He goes, most people wouldn't do it. And I said, well, not most people. I said, I'm more than happy to help you out. I said, I understand. People don't. What are you going to do? So it was during COVID. And then all of a sudden, he says it's doing well. The movie got relaunched. It went well. And I said, oh, great. I'm glad to hear about it. And then he says to me, he goes, I've got an offer for you, Vince. I said, what's that? He goes, there's a film called Ninja. What's it called again?
New York Ninja, right? Yeah.
And he says, I found this film that's been in the archives for years. No one's finished it, but we have all the footage. And he goes, what we need is your voice. I said, what? He goes, because what happened is this gentleman who owned the film never finished it and lost all the audio tracks on the film. So basically, it's a film that we have that has no voice. And he goes, what I'd like, if you could, because you helped me out, Vince, I want you to be the voice in it. And I said, what? You want to be the voice of the film? Sure. He goes, I said, like animation kind of thing? He goes, no, but they're real characters, but there's no audio. And then he goes, and I called Don the Dragon Wilson, and I called Cynthia, and I want to add you to that name. I go, well, if you call Don, you call Cynthia, what do you want me to say no? I say yes. And I go, anything to do with Dawn, I'm in. So Dawn's the lead, Cynthia's the girl, and inside me is the broadcast. Awesome. And I said, so during COVID, during the craziest time of anything, because film here was just, Vancouver is a big filming place. So it's bigger than LA. It's got to be the #1 place in the world right now. So Vancouver has all the series you see are filmed here. Anything on TV, so that's why Vancouver is a big hub. Because here in Vancouver, we have great studios and we have great people, but our talent is pretty good as the filmmakers, right? So the crew is good, so they come here. So there was nothing happening during that time in COVID. So it was really a lockdown all over. So then they made me go into the studio and do voiceovers. And, it was a weird time, but we ended up doing that film. And like I said, it just out of nowhere that came out of. And that shows you, for being nice to people, that things will happen. And so, like I said, it's very important.
Absolutely.
Anyways, karma's going to come back somehow. It doesn't happen right away. Don't get me wrong. But if you do nice things in life, my experience is it's only going to come back.
Absolutely. And I have to apologize for the viewers as well, because so this was re-released in 2021, correct? 2021, you said, right?
Yeah, I
COVID.
think so.
Yeah. So I know we
Which one?
bounced the ring. It's
Which one? The
New York Ninja. So it's weird because
just for ice. That's right.
because in IMDb it actually had it. 2025. Well, on your IMDb, it's actually listed. It's funny, all the videos are there, and it's listed right after Ring of Fire 2. I didn't realize it said 2021, so that's my apologies to everyone. This is actually recent. So I'm gonna go back to two other projects in the 90s.
Okay.
One is To Be the Best. I'm not familiar with that one either. To Be the Best. What's the story with that one?
Yeah, To Be the Best was geez, let me flashback now. Yeah, To Be the Best. To Be the Best was really a lot of fun. It's with Michael Worth, and Michael Worth's another gentleman, and you know what, a lot of fun to work with. I was his best man at his wedding at the time. He got married in Vegas. And, you know what happens, whirlwinds, you love affairs and stuff, but it's a great story. So we went to Vegas to film. Never been to Vegas. I mean, I've been to Vegas, but never to film. And so we were staying at the Sands Hotel at the time, and the Sands is no longer there. They tore that down. That's where Frank Sinatra and all the boys would stay when they were in town. We filmed the film there, and it was great. I think it was way after Best of the Best was being filmed, and I like that one as well. But so we were in Vegas. We're a Vegas team, and we're basically fighting the world. And it was a lot of fun. You know what? I'm trying to flash back to it. But so what happens is this is a great story. You're gonna love this one. We get to the hotel, and we have the ring set up, and we're meeting people, and we're in Vegas. It's kind of pretty wild.
All the lights and everything. Yeah.
So nice. So all of a sudden we get in the hotel, and we're doing a fight scene, and I see these two little girls watching us, and so I figure, okay, so I go over to these two little girls, and I go, girls, why don't you come, instead of standing over here, why don't you come over here and come sit in our chairs? So I go over and talk to these girls, and so they're all excited. I introduce them to the cast, and so they're watching us fight. We're doing all these fight scenes in this ring, and it was a lot of fun. I had Ron Ewan there, and Gary Daniels, and a few other people. So we had some quality martial arts, and Stephen Lee.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think that was it. And a few other great martial artists like Butch, who did my fight scene with me, and had some great stunt guys, but martial artists. See, at the time when they call stunts, they were just good martial artists. They took the shot, they flipped, they fell down, because they weren't stuntmen at the time, but that's what you call them. So when somebody says to me, "You're a stuntman," I look at you and I say, "Listen, it says stuntman, but I'm not a stuntman. I'm a martial artist. Just happens that I had to hit the floor, and now you're a stuntman."
Right.
So we get there. These two girls are so sweet, and we're all being nice to them. And then the next day, this gentleman comes up to me, and he says to me, "Vince?" I go, "Yes." He goes, "I heard your name all night long." He goes, I'm the father of the two young ladies that you took in." Wow. And I said, they were sweet. I go, they were in gymnastics, so they got to be 7, 8, 9 years old, something like that. So wow. Like I said, be nice to everybody. So I started talking to them, and he goes, that they think you are the cat's meow. And I said, "Well, that's so sweet." I said, "They seem very cute." I said, "I just wanted them to get closer." I said, "I hope I didn't offend anybody." And he goes, No. He goes, I'm the vice president of the Sands Hotel. And I said, "Wow." He goes, "How is your stay here?" I said, "It's wonderful. I just got here yesterday." I go, "It's great." He goes, "Well, I'm going to make it even better for you." He says, "By you doing this to my daughters," he goes, "it meant a lot to me." He goes, "So what I want to do for you is I'd like to put you in the executive suite, but it's got a hot tub and that, and hopefully, you know, all the fight, when you fall, you're gonna feel better at the end of the day with the hot tub. But hopefully that to make you feel better. I go, look, you can't do that to me. I said, he goes, what? I said, well, because I got 6, 7 other people here who were just as nice to your daughter as I was. I don't want to be the guy to stand out and to say, oh, Vince got a room because he, you know. I said, you can't do that to me. I said, so I'm okay where I'm at, but I appreciate it. He says, you know, I thought you'd say that. He goes, you know, you martial artists are a little different. He goes, so what I did is I moved everybody into hot tubs and suites in the back, in the bungalow suites. And I went, what? And he goes, I've already taken the liberty of moving all of you. So he goes, I want you to know you're all in the same area, but you all have hot tubs and suites. And I went, oh, that's very nice of you. Said, I was blown away. And so that's how that was to me the best in Vegas. And, you know, he even gave me tickets to go see Mike Tyson.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And the hardest thing in Vegas they don't ever give you money. They said, we'll give you, we'll comp you this, we'll comp you that, but we don't give cash. He even gave me a little bit of spending money.
Oh, wow.
So, very rare to get these things. And then, so that's why Mike got married at the time, was because, you know, because we were also filming in the Las Vegas chapel where Elvis got married. There's this love scene where Mike gets married. And so then we're there, and Mike goes, you know, maybe I should marry my girlfriend. And so when he did that, I said, I got the limousine because I've got the hookup. So I phoned my friend up, the guy I met. I go, listen, Mike's going to get married. Do you mind if we borrow your limousine? He goes, Vinny, whatever you want. He goes, you know, so we took advantage of what we did at the time.
Wow. That's awesome. Oh my God, that's such a great story. That's a great. So are you the man in Vegas now? Do you ever go back?
You know what? To be honest with you, I was the man in Vegas.
Yeah.
But no. You know, Vegas is it's always changing.
Right.
You know, and I think he's gone on to bigger and better things, but we got to phone him up. Maybe we. You never know. But no, Vegas is a great place, a good place to go and have a great time. I think if it's an adult entertainment place. Kids, I think you make it more kid friendly, but you know, I think everything's getting a little too expensive right now for anybody. So, you know, I think stay home, have fun there. Vegas is different, but definitely a lot of fun. Yeah.
Oh my God.
You call me anytime you want to go. I'm ready.
I'm calling you that. I'm calling you, Vince.
No problem.
Vince, we're going to talk. So, you know, it's funny you say that story. I ended up just doing a film, which is going to lead me to your next film that you did. And it's funny, like you said, about relationships, and you just never know, you know, what's going to happen. One of the largest investors in the little film that I did was a guy that I know for 15 years who was my dry cleaner. Wonderful human being. Didn't, you know what I mean? Never had the intention of asking him. And I'm telling him the story about that I'm going to make this movie. And he says, hold on one second. Italian guy. It's always the Italian guy.
I love it. Watch those Italians.
Listen. He goes back and comes back and gives me a check. I started crying. I said, what is this? He goes, I love your stories. I love when you tell me you're doing these things, Jose. You excite me. I want to help you succeed. I didn't even have my best friend give me that type of money. You know what I mean? And great friends with the guys. Name's Larry Adari. I love him to death. We put him in the film. He's like a bartender. But you never know, Vince, who's going to do it. But I got to tell you, my heart, this Italian brother, man. I don't know. Maybe I have a new one with you. I don't know.
That's it. Maybe. You know what? Crazier things have happened. Listen, I also did my homework on you a little bit. Because after I was checking it out, and so your film, I heard you did a film that's fantastic. I know it's everywhere. It's good for you, man. You know what? That's how things start. And you got that little you got the excitement, and I love that, and I see that, you know, and I think it's just wonderful. I think, you know what? Well, there's so much room. What happened was I met Francis Ford Coppola in California, and so now I figured at the time, and you know, and then the gentleman named Fred Roos as well, his partner. And I'm talking to these guys, and I'm thinking, wow, I'm at the meeting the big guys, right? So I said to him, I said, listen, is there hope for me? You know, like, I'm asking the best, right? I gotta, and it's just because you want reassurance to see. He said to me, the best thing ever anybody said. He says, "Take a look in the sky, Vinny." He goes, "How many stars do you see?" I said, "Lots." He says, "There's room for you." He goes, "Take a look. There's room for you."
Wow.
He goes, because so that's what he said. So he goes, don't ever, don't ever second guess yourself. There's room for you. And he goes, because what he wanted to tell me was the sky is full of stars, but there's room for you.
Right.
And so I appreciated that. And so same goes to you, man. Don't give up, because you get excited, and you think this is it. And you keep trying. Sometimes you hit a wall. Yep. But what we got above everybody else is that when we hit the wall, we fall, we get back up. Right. And as long as you keep persevering, everything will happen that's meant to be, and never give up. And that's the key in life and in anything. You're blessed with a few things, but you know what? Just never give up, and you never know what happens. And I definitely think by you contacting me, there's definitely something there. And me and you will get to do something. Like they say, you call me up, we'll be there. And, things are good. It happens to good people, and definitely, you're good people. You just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Vince. I was so upset I didn't get to go to Texas. Juanita
I was going to say to you, I when I found out you were nominated, because I was doing my little research, I'm thinking to myself, what the hell? And I go, did I miss him? Because I was there having dinner, and I was pretty attentive of who was there, who wasn't there. Right. And I would have saw you. I would have said, then I put two and two together. You should have went, because it was a great experience.
I know.
I came all the way from Canada to go there, and I'm glad I did. It was really, really incredible. The whole thing.
I had a promotion, so I literally was in another country. I was in Trinidad and Tobago. Doing a final push for Killer X, and it got bumped because originally I was supposed to go do this promotional thing in August, but I had like a gallbladder issue, like I had a gallstone, so I had to cancel my trip. And then the only day, we just planned it, and it ended up I committed originally, but then I had this other thing, and it just messed up. So I apologize, but I got a message from Silvio Simac, because he's going to be involved in my next film, and Muhammad Kisi, who we both worked with. Because Muhammad's a bad guy and me. So
he accepted your reward.
He did. He did.
Your reward. Yeah. I saw that. And I was going, wow. And you know him as Muhammad, but I know him as Michel Kisi.
Right.
Yeah. But then I figured, okay, now he's changed his name. Or that's his original name. Yeah. So I saw him grab your award and do this. And I'm like, what's he doing? And he was accepting your award for you. Yeah, that was classic. No, I saw that. It was beautiful.
He was the sweetheart. So he messages me. He's like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, I said, "I can't come. I'm in Trinidad." I said, "Could you do me a huge favor?" And he goes, "I'll get it for you. No problem. I'll get it for you." So then he did a little video, and it was so sweet. But like to me, it was, again, I have to be honest with you, Vince. To even sit here and talk to you it's amazing. I try not to fanboy when I meet all you guys, because I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. But I want to jump into right out. So I had these photographs of you. Would you say that was this project kind of the most iconic? Was this one that you get known the most or not? Kickboxer 2. Let's talk about Kickboxer 2. How did you get involved with it, and what's this project mean to you? Because it came after the huge success of Kickboxer 1, with Van Damme. So, can you go into it for us?
Sure. What happened was, so I'm in Vancouver at the time. I just started acting. I just got my first lead role, Flesh Gordon. Never even wanted to act, and I was a kickboxer. So when Bloodsport came out, I was a lunatic. Okay, so I went to the movie theater with this big guy who was like the other big guy in the film of Bloodsport, with a beard, same thing. And I have a friend, and so this guy is huge, just like the guy in the movie. So me and my friend decided we're going to see Bloodsport, and I look like Van Damme at the time. He looks like that big guy with the beard, and we go, and we're like pumped up. We love this film. This film
Yeah.
was like, it got me moving. You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
what first got me excited about films after. But I just started films. And I go to my friend, geez, it would be great if I could just I gotta go do this thing, like it's like calling me now, I saw
Right.
Van Damme. I said, well, he's okay, but I'm better than this guy. So I'm gonna, I want to now. I'm at the peak. They're doing martial art films, so I want to do a film like that. And I look on the paper, and somebody contacted my agent contacted me and says they're doing Kickboxer 2. And I said, Kickboxer 2. I go, oh, okay. And I got excited. I said, well, can I audition? Well, come on. She goes, my way ahead of Vince. I contacted them, and they said, submit a reel. Okay, what's a reel? Oh, you audition, we'll send it to them. Okay, so I did this and sent it to them, and I was still fighting at the time. So I was totally engulfed in martial arts. And all of a sudden, they sent a reel, and they said, well, they think you're good. Okay. And, well, they'll get back to us. That's it? And I was, yeah, okay. So I tell my dad, I said, Dad, I'm getting considered for Kickboxer 2 and to play a role. And so he looks at me and he says, you know what? He goes, you sending them the tapes is no good. He says, they got to see you in person. That's the thing. He says, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fly you out to LA.
Oh, wow.
And so my father says, because he goes, by them here seeing your tapes and stuff is not the same as seeing you as real. So he goes, I'll pay for that. So my dad flew me out to go to LA to audition in front of them.
God bless.
It's because he said that he knew that I had magic, but if I get close to you, then they can see what I'm about.
Right.
Because tapes don't do you justice. That's what they do that. And he's right. So my dad flew me out, and I went down and auditioned. I did really good. I remember being on the plane, and I'm memorizing my lines like I got it all. And people look at me, what are you doing? I'm going to LA to audition for Kickboxer 2. And So anyways, I get there, audition, and I do very well. And they said, we'll get back to you. So I get back on the plane, come back to Vancouver. And my dad says, well, so Easter weekend, it comes. And Good Friday, I get a phone call. It says, we got good news and bad news. Oh, no. It says, sorry, Mr. Murdocco, you didn't get the part.
Oh.
I'm devastated. This is Good Friday.
Hmm.
And so my dad said I didn't get the part.
Now, Vince, you read for the lead, or you read for the part they gave you?
The part they gave me.
Oh, okay.
So I read for Brian. And the lead was Sasha Mitchell. So
right. But they had that locked in already?
They had that locked in before the film because of who he was. And at the time, he was a pretty big actor. He did Spike and Bensonhurst at the time, did a couple other things. So he's a Calvin Klein model. So they wanted to kind of take it to another. Van Damme they didn't want to use anymore because he wasn't as nice as everybody says he is. So they pulled him out. And that was their story. So they said to me that I didn't get the part. So it's Good Friday. So I was devastated. This first time a kid, I thought I had it because I'm thinking I had it.
Right.
So because they called me back a bunch of times and they're contacting me. We're talking, this is over a couple month period.
Right.
So Good Friday comes. I didn't get it, and it's iconic. Good Friday. And I'm thinking, so that day I went up to there's mountains here in Vancouver, and it was spring kind of, and it was a little hot. What we do in that time is when you're kids, we go up to the top of the mountain, there's snow, and we just lie there in lawn chairs, drink beer, and get a tan. This is what we're doing in Canada once in a while. So this is what we used to do. So Good Friday comes, and so I leave and I go up to the mountain with my friends, and I'm kind of, not feeling great.
Right, bummed out, yeah.
Bummed out. So what happens is, after that, cell phones are just starting to come. So my parents are trying to get a hold of me, and I turned it off or whatever. When I get home, they said, "Listen, your agent called. She's told me to get a hold of you. Something's happened." And so I said, "Well, what happened?" So Easter Sunday comes. and they basically say, I got good news and bad news. But what's the good news? You got the part. What's the bad news? You need to leave. You got to be there by Monday. This is Sunday. And I have a job, and I'm working for the Port of Vancouver. I'm shipping lumber all over the world at the time, and I have this job. So the good news is I got the part. They fired the guy that they wanted, or the guy that they chose ahead of me had no martial arts. And what happened is Benny the Jet was doing the scene, because they were filming. Benny the Jet was doing a scene with him. He says, "This guy's useless." He goes, "I can't do nothing with this guy." He goes, "It's going to be the worst film ever." So he goes, so they fired the kid because he was Sasha's best friend. And that tells you that, remember, so sometimes your friends bring you in.
Right.
It's like anything in life. So they got rid of him, but they needed me on Monday morning. So Sunday they phoned me, said, "You got the part." Monday I had to leave. And so I said to my dad, I said, "Dad, good news and bad news. Good news is I got the part. Bad news is I got to leave Monday. I got to quit my job." And during the time Flesh Gordon was made, I got a leave of absence from my job. They said, "Listen, we can't do it twice. If you decide to go again this Hollywood way, we'll have to replace you." And so I said to my dad, I said, "Dad, good news is I got the job. Bad news is if I leave, I'm not going to have a job." So he says, my dad looks at me, he goes, "Don't worry, we'll take care of it, buddy." So I said, "You got my back, Dad?" Off I go. So so that's how that started. So when I got there, Kickboxing 2, I get to the Jet Center, and they said, "Listen, Benny's the stunt coordinator, fight for choreographer," and I'm like, "Benny the Jet?" I'm getting there, Benny the Jet. Like, are you kidding me? So he says, "Warm up." I'm in the Jet Center. "Warm up a bit." He goes, "In a minute, I'm gonna walk you through a few things. I want to see where you're at." So I go, "Warm up." All right, warm up. Here I go. I'm stretching. Benny says, "Okay, come here. I want you to turning kick. Kick the bag. Turning kick. Bang. Boom. I'm hitting it like you've never seen a kid hit.
Yeah, of course.
All right, side kick. Bang. I kicked that bag like you've never seen it. You have no idea what I did that bag. So he says, how about a hook kick?" Hook kick. What else you want? I'm like, "You want to see, I'm hitting this thing." He goes, "Can you do a jumping revert?" Boom, bang. Fuck. I'm like, you couldn't ask me. You want to see a kid kick high?
Yeah.
So he says, "What else can you?" So he goes to me, looks at me, Benny says, "You're my Christmas present." Wow. The Jet said I'm his Christmas present.
That's awesome.
And so after that, I knew that I had the magic. And then it just, so the fight scenes went great, and he was choreographing all those fight scenes. And then we had a gentleman named Nickerson, who was the same guy who did Raging Bull. So he's a stunt guy who did the Raging Bull with all the slow motion shots. So that's when you would see the Kickboxer 2, you see those shots we took. Benny was the classic because there was a shot where they do an insert of a knee hitting my head.
Yeah.
And it's a rubber knee. Okay. So they got a rubber knee with a stick in it, like a broomstick. So they would get this rubber knee, and an insert hit you with the knee, a rubber knee, and because they couldn't really hit you with a real knee, you're gonna go the slow motion. They did it so hard that the stick went through the rubber and nailed me. Knockout. They busted my ribs in the filming of that.
Oh
Michelle,
my God!
He hit me too hard because me and Michelle, we're like, we're gonna make this fight scene the most real fight scene you've ever seen. Because I said, I don't know if we're ever gonna fight and do this again. And I said, I don't want to make sure that we give it our all. And Michelle Geese kept saying, "Okay, let's give it." When we were fighting, There's no, we weren't pulling anything. Because I said to him, I don't want to go out knowing that we're faking this shit.
Right.
I said, I'm the real thing. Let's go. And when we hit each other, He
You're
busted my
banging.
ribs in the filming of this.
Oh, wow.
When he did the knee to the, yeah, oh yeah, so, and then after that, I went to the hospital, the whole 9 yards. And then
Wow.
the funny part was the stunt guys are great, right? Like Benny, they said, listen, how do you feel? I said, I feel great. I think I just busted my ribs. We just acknowledge that. He says, yeah, no, Benny, one more time. How do you feel? I feel great. He goes, can you do the fight scene tomorrow? Of course. Even with your busted ribs, of course. He goes, okay, good. He goes, I want you to keep telling me that, because every time you say that, we do call it a forced call. What happens is you get paid double what you get paid that day. So he goes, I'm going to ask you again after every day, even if you're sore, you have to tell me you're ready to go.
Wow.
And so every day after the fight scene, we would do the fight scene. He'd go, okay, Vinny, how do you feel? You ready to do it? Yes, I am. And I got busted ribs. I can't do it. Benny the Jet had to double me in some of the fight scenes because I couldn't fight no more because I had busted ribs.
Wow. I'm going to tell you, Muhammad Michelle Kesey, he's a strong man. He's a strong man, because remember, I got him later. He's older now. I remember his hands and how strong. And we touched a little bit. We weren't going, full contact. But I'm like, man, if this guy tees off on somebody's going to be hurting.
Oh, yeah, he's strong. He was, at the time when I asked him, I said, so you're a martial artist? He goes, a little bit. He goes, more of a boxer. But I come from a boxing family. He goes, my whole family is boxers. And I went, oh, I said, because he was very knowledgeable, and so he's a boxer, and he's got hands of stone, man.
Yeah.
And,
oh my God. Yeah.
He's a tough guy. Like I said, I would have never, because now you got to remember this. I'm a kid, and I'm watching Kickboxer 1. Okay. And as you watched, every martial artist saw this. And when I saw Kickboxer 1, I look at the credits after, and it said Tong Po as himself.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to California to fight this guy, and it says Tong Po as himself. So I'm thinking, this guy's from Thailand. He's a beast. Like you see, he kick the trees. Like, this guy's an animal, and I think I'm fighting an animal. Like I didn't know. So I got pictures of Muhammad with getting his prosthetics on all stages where he looks like this. So I've got stuff nobody has.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to send them to you.
Oh, my God. Okay.
So what I'll send you is the stages. So, and I'm the kid in the room as well. I'm like this. I go, say hi. So I kind of went in putting on the prosthetics here, and he's changing. And it took like 3-4 hours. We both had to do that. Where my face was all mangled. So it's all prosthetics. And so it took hours. So I had him take pictures of me as well to show people that this is how they make you look like you got beat up, right?
Mangled,
but I've got pictures of what he had to go through every day. And I got pictures of him stage by stage by stage. So I'm going to send them to you because you'll like that, since I'm here to be wild.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, for me, like you spoke about Don, Muhammad for me was a complete angel. I mean, he was a pro on the set. He consistently talked to me. He consistently motivated me. And he was the one, I brought him in as a special guest for one of my karate tournaments, because I'm a karate tournament promoter as well. So he was the guest, and we brought him in. And I pitched him the idea then. I said, I'm thinking about making a movie. I'm not sure. And he was like, do it. He goes, just do it. He goes, let's do it. Let's do it. That's how it came about. And then all these pieces. And I remember I'm in my car, Vince, and I'm like, who the hell am I to be talking to Muhammad, Michelle Kesey right now? Like, I'm thinking again, Tong Po, Van Damme, this whole thing. And then it just happened, and you just don't know. But to me, he was an absolute angel, and I credit him a lot. Like, he was really good to me. And I mean, we're even going to try to do something else in the future, another film, but he's been an amazing human being to me. Amazing.
Oh, yeah, he's got a big heart. Like, even at the award show was wonderful, because we haven't seen each other in 30 years.
Oh my God. Wow.
So 30, but we've talked to each other online. We've we say hello. We go through this motion, and we're still friends. but he was very. He's like you said, he's got a big heart as well. He's another guy that gives you what he has, and what you see is what you get, and he's very generous. And he's just like Don, both very generous in different times, but he is a gentleman. And so when he saw me, okay, come in, because they told me last second that Michelle Kesey's going to be there, and when he said that, when Juanita mentioned that he's going to be there, I'm like, wow, wait till he sees me, okay? And I just walk into the room. It was the meet and greet the day before, and I walk into the room, and I'm standing in the back of the room, and I see Michelle, and he looks at me. He's like, holy shit. He comes over, gives me the biggest hug. And you know what? We did something wild 30 years ago. And, made that film. And we have so much love and respect for each other. So he gets up on stage the next day because, we said hello. We give each other hugs. You can believe it. We see each other. And he grabs the mic, and he says something, and he goes tells his story, whatever his story was, and he says, you know what, I gotta do this. He goes, I gotta call somebody up here. He goes, I killed this guy 30 years ago in a film, and he goes, and I don't know, but must be still alive because I think I see him. I want to call him up on stage, and he gave me a big hug. Like, I love him.
Oh, man.
Back, buddy, So he, in front of everybody, he just took over the show.
Yeah.
He grabbed the mic and wanted to say, love and respect for me. And I was almost in tears, going up.
Wow.
So it just meant that much more to me, to get my award.
Yeah.
So he's like a big brother.
Yeah.
He's got the love, he's got the respect, and if you need him, he's there.
Oh my God!
Morocco to be there, and to me that just added it was like the cream on the cake, to top the icing, so to me, he's a lot of love for him as well, and you got it, buddy.
Yeah. No, man, like I told you, amazing guy. And I was so, I'm watching the pictures of all you guys posted and that he sent me, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I was able to be in Texas right now.
Phenomenal.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
timing, there's a reason. There's everything for a reason.
Right. Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Cool.
Well, Vince, I want to say we've been on for an hour now. I think you and I
already an hour.
Listen, it's been an hour. I'm like, oh my God. I think 5 hours, to be honest.
We need another fucking show, part 2.
We're gonna need another show, 100%. So, Vince, what I want to do is I want to tell the viewers I had an absolute pleasure with you tonight, and we got to have you back on. We got to talk again. I got to have you back on. There's more stories, more things we could do, and I'm gonna be reaching out to you afterwards because we're gonna talk about some other stuff as well. But Vince, if you could leave any words for any aspiring guys coming up, whether they're a martial artist or an actor, what advice can you give them? Any words that you can give them, of what they can do to navigate through this crazy, movie acting, scene the way that it is?
Yeah, what I gotta say is to anybody out there, believe in your dreams. If you dream it, do it, man. You know what? And don't stop dreaming. My mom said to me, and I'm blessed to have my parents still around. And
both mom and dad is still alive, yeah?
Yeah, both mom and dad.
Oh man,
Mom gave me a card, and it was my birthday card, and she wrote down. I get emotional.
Oh man,
she wrote down, "Wish big."
Wow.
Wish big, and that's what I kind of.
Wow.
Yeah. So wish big.
Yeah. Vince, I appreciate that. Something that's been hard for me and going through this, and again, I'm nowhere on any of your guys' levels, but I lost my mom. I lost my mom in 2012. She was very young, 54, and I lost my father in 2017. So it's been hard because I haven't been able to, kind of talk to them, right, and through this process and all these things. So I totally can relate, and blessing to you to still have your mom and dad. Give them big hugs for me, because there's not a day that I wouldn't want to talk to my mom and dad. So God bless to you. I mean that. I mean that a lot.
So as I was saying, what you got to do is wish big. Anybody out there, wish big. Don't wish small. Wish big.
I appreciate that. Guys, all of my viewers, everybody that tuned in today, thank you so much. I hope you guys, got as much as we did out of the interview. Vince is a great man. He shared so many things, and we're definitely having Vince back. So, Vince, I thank you, sir. Deep bow to you. God bless to you. And everybody, this was the first great episode for 2025. We kicked off season 4 with Vince. We wish everybody the best, okay? Good night. God bless. And we wish everybody the absolute best. Take care.